Hello, Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Gnomes. Saudações, pessoas, aqui é Gnomes. Então, hoje a gente vai fazer alguma coisa de compositing. Na verdade, grease pencil, fazer desenhos de animação. Não exatamente animação, mas animação. We're gonna make animation drawings and we're gonna, not a conventional animation, but we're gonna be working on that. Sorry, I've been doing this in Portuguese, but you see the flag, Brazilian flag is no more, but there are still BR, which means Brazil, so this was a mistake. This one is in English. Essa aqui vai ser em inglês. So let's continue here, and let's get some. Okay, so there is a ludicrous compositing here that will enable us to get some interesting rendering, NPR we could say, although I don't know if that qualifies as NPR. I know it's stylized render, so I don't care about the NPR, because often that might be associated with some, I don't know, some suspicious ways of compositing coming from realism in CG, so I don't really know. So it doesn't matter for me because I'm not looking for that. What I'm looking is for some sort of composition that will be good for 2.5D. Even before I was trying to do 2.5D. Okay, so here what we get, it's complicated because we need to have multiple layers, and there's a limitation in real-time compositing preview that this doesn't allow us to use. You see, we cannot use multiple render layers to have the final view. So I can have this more or less accurate from the one that only shows the scenario. It's not the final, but it's very close to it, but there's no grease pencil. So there is a lot of problems in compositing in Blender. Well, not a lot of problems. There are a few tweaks that if they improved, but they aren't able to improve so yet. So this will be a really game changer, but for compositing, because we cannot see this in real time when I'm drawing, because I need the grease pencil, and then we have a grease pencil here, which doesn't matter, and then we have this 2.5D. This is for navigation, but this one is the one that doesn't work with this. So the problem is that I cannot see the final output here, and this is a bit annoying, right? And yeah, unfortunately, this one is not rendered, it's just for preview. So it's sort of something like that. Also, there's no swapping here with this and this, so there are a lot of problems here. There are many people that are artists that mentioned some problems. They just can't figure out a good workflow. And Blender development also cannot figure out a more versatile solution, straightforward solution for this management problems and artistic problems, right? Quality of life. So my goal here would be to start drawing a sort of a scene, because I have this shot here. So let's look what this is about. I was reformulating some of the, let's not bring the camera with us, there's no compositing anyways. So this was a starship of its own. Now it might be a floating ship. This is the greenhouse that was being reformulated. So you have here an elevator, which I'm not sure if it is working. No, it doesn't. It's not working. Okay. So this is a playful area inspired by some modern French architecture, museums, library, bibliotheques, stuff like that. And but of course here are other things. This I thought something like cinema stairs, I don't know, kind of interesting. This will be more a darker place, but there's too much light here. I don't know where this light is coming from. Yeah, this is a strange thing here. Let's bring a camera here. This music start to get a bit repetitive, so let's get something else here for this thing. Let's get this one. Yes. After when we start work, I'll need that soundtrack back again. Okay, so maybe I need a new camera here. To inspect. Control Alt numpad 0 here. Okay, let's render this. Let's see. Probably the light is traversing the. Oh, it's kind of dark already. Okay, this is nice. Here we have some effects, right? Is it possible that this light is the Yes, so this light is a bit too strong, but I think I have a solution for this. We're gonna change this no, it's not that. Maybe it's this radio here. Yeah. Maybe that. It's strange that I don't see in real time what is changing in the light. It's like as if I had excessive. Strangely, I'm able to look at light effects from this one with the camera compositor. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah. Not exactly right. So anyways, so here we might reduce. We're gonna get some double render. Okay, let's render here. I think that was an improvement. Yeah, then let's get another one at slot 2. Okay, I don't see any changes. Interesting. Okay, let's render in slot 3. Or let's not render. It's there might be another source of light somewhere that is making this. Let's render here. I've been changing all the materials here, fixing broken materials, but UVs are still messed up and still gonna work a bit more, but not today, not this time. Here I'm more for the Yeah, with the compositor, this is with the, it's not too heavy, but unfortunately, because I have the grease pencil, because I have to manage the grease pencil separately and some other stuff separately, I just cannot get the, yeah, like here we have mostly the same look. And also we can do better if we go here and, yeah, we need to have the view. Yeah, so just 2 render layers, so one for the scenery. Okay, the grease pencil with the line art. Here there's no character appearing, but the character would appear in color from here, because the feeling of the grease pencil is grease pencil. So yeah, and here image, right? Yeah, there's other stuff, but that doesn't matter here. So all this, so they get similar compositing, but I'm not using some of these things anymore. I'm trying to simplify as much as I can. Then I found out, yeah, there's a problem with, if we, there's a question about how to get the grease pencil into the mist pass, because they are not combined, right? So the grease pencil doesn't come with the mist, although it's strange. It's hard to, I haven't found a way, so I'm not using the mist bloom. Maybe it's usable, but not important. This was just extra. This was not original for this, so this one is important, but this is not causing any trouble for that matter, I hope. I might have to check other things. The fact is that I'm making the combination of the grease pencil and of the environment, the 3D scene, after. So after I got the stars and the mist, then I compose the grease pencil. I mix it, so it's complicated, but, and so it's not too complicated, but yeah, it was messy to find this out. There are things here that are quite complicated, but it's feasible, right? But it's not perfect. There's a lot of things that, if I could only use one of these, that would be ideal. So there would be a proposition, like if I could make masks directly just from one. This might be possible, but immediately comes some issues, right? Like if the grease pencil is part, right, then we don't have the 3D objects without the grease pencil. Grease pencil becomes an object on top, and that might ruin some. It's an overlay thing. So it's, you cannot alpha that, so it's complicated. You don't have the clean scenery, but maybe it's not absolutely important, but maybe there are workarounds. So I have to find that. And the only good thing that will bring is that stupid thing will be just the quality of life, so that I could be able to see in real time that thing, right? With the grease pencil drawings as well. Okay, so now we're gonna, and here is the stylization, right? Essentially, this is the part of stylization. We might have a choice to use this or not. This is about values, so grayscale is it's usually when you want to stylize with CGA graphics, stuff like that, cell shading, whatever. This usually changing of values with the playing with this works. It's provides cool results, but you have the option to disable it, so it bypasses everything here. but now I'm using it's cool. And then we have these things that I need to make more changes here. So essentially we are using the first here, we are using this. Then there are some remixes here, but yeah, for example, this is the remix between original, non-stylized, and the stylized. So this is very interesting that when you get this, then we can remix. We can remix this thing, and then to a certain amount. So in this case, the mix is the better because it's very cool. So it was something about here. I think it's a bit dark, but we can certainly, if I add more lights, there are other ways to compensate, but it's feasible, right? For now. Okay, this one, very little difference here in the way I've done. So I probably want to simplify this stuff. I don't know what I'm mixing here. It's a screen. And here, this one is not gonna be, is not in use, so this varies shot by shot actually, right? So camera view, so this is very subtle, right? This one is more bluish, so I need to make some radical change to these color patterns. If I had some sort of automation for all that, like I have a hue thing here, but this is probably not the best way to go, right? It's probably dangerous. It's not even changing much for some reason, so this is very, very random. Alright, so this is how it works. So paint everything and grayscale. And then we got Kuahara. In the end, no, this is not a Kuahara. The Kuahara is just for the center. This is a diamond sharpen. So just a small here, right before the remix. So this gets, it values the grease pencil. Values, actually, it values it makes the color differences here, the tones variation, to describe certain sharp edge, which slightly, we can abstract, slightly look like grease pencil outlines and sketching and right, carving the paper. So it's kind of cool. It's like drawing onto the texture. So this is very interesting what this thing can do, but in small amounts. So it's not like a grease pencil line art, but it works at, and I have grease pencil line art, which is already presented, was here with depth. With the depth is automatic, right? And with also, yeah, some noise, so let's get this cartoony effect. So it's very interesting. And I think there's another thing about this grease pencil, which is the I cannot, yeah, it is selected. Okay, so I had to turn off the lights because it was not working for these shots here. I was struggling with the light scene. So here we got to, yeah, the modifiers, what we get. Do you have anything like, no, we don't have effects, right? But we have modifiers, so thickness and noise and line art, noise, and this opacity. Yeah, I can delete this is an asset, and this was appended from another blend file where the original drawings came from. So I have some, I hope here, it's gonna start in a moment. So this is not good, we want to be here. This, at least in this condition, will be able to see what we are working with. Okay, so there's the camera. I'm gonna leave this camera here. We're gonna move to this other camera. So there is a grease pencil here. I'm a bit displaced from the okay, so there are some character designs here, with some with colors, some with not without colors. What I'm gonna do is that, okay, so let's bring the camera. So I need to devise some story here that I'm carving in my mind, mining story. This illumination, it's a bit dark. It's the materials can be improved certainly, but I think that's many things here that are not super well composed, but in principle that can already work, right? So how that, so let's see here. First of all, let's use a simplify just in case. Simplify, yeah, it was on. So what I need to do here, there are a lot of objects here that will be annoying here, right? So I'm gonna focus on yeah, I need space, and probably I need cameras. Alright, so this grease pencil, it should bring me the material, the color palettes. So we see a problem here. I had more color palettes with this is a problem. The color palettes didn't come with this grease pencil. This is bad. So unexpected. They should exist in the original scene. To look at the original, it's not here. I might use the asset library. Why do I have two of them? Oh, maybe that is the cause. This comes from a brush. I see. So maybe this one. Okay, let's check this asset here. This one we can't because it's a brush, but this one we can access the file. So here is where I have I've drawn all these characters. It's much easier in a separate scene, and if I access the grease pencil here, which is an asset from here. Yeah, it has just these two materials, and I have the color palette. So what happened that when I appended this, it didn't came with this. This one should be like this, but there's no reason for this to have changed the not have access to here. Okay, let's make another thing here. Can I assess the cartoon cast? Okay, this is from here. You're gonna bring this as an object. Good, because it's a that's what it is. It's a grease pencil object with everything ready. And the materials are also from here, these two. You can even clear asset from here. It's not the case. No brushes here. Materials, but so these materials which come with this, they should have, especially this one, right? It should have bring this these things which cannot be assetized, right? So this is the limitation here. It's very complicated. Let's see if I can. Let's make a brand new file here. Let's bring the. It's a little thing, but it's not allowing me to work properly if I cannot find my color palettes. Some of them, okay, this is old, so this, let's try to bring. Okay, it's from linking, but for some reason. Okay, here it is. Let's access the grease pencil. Okay, it's linked, so I cannot enter in the. So this is the thing. In principle, this will. It's not like an armature object, so we cannot do this with the grease pencil. This is why I've appended. But okay, I don't know anything that I can do with this here, so I cannot check the because these data, I think they only exist in the paint mode, right? And I can't access the paint mode. So let's try to make local. Can be all here. And now I can. So maybe this is what broke the. Yeah, this breaks the palette, or they never came with the character. Maybe because we broke these things. Yeah, possible. Maybe the materials, they should. Okay, let's try again. Let's start. Maybe these materials, yeah, let's make a test here. So Okay, you have this. Now this is dependent. We see that it doesn't have these materials linked. And the brushes also are not the... I don't get the palettes, not even the... But maybe it's a question of the brush. No, it's not the brush. These palettes don't come with the brush. So maybe there's something about the materials. We're gonna check. Because these materials were taken from the... Okay, so for some reason this is not being substituted. The only thing that I want to see is that if I get the... No, I can't get those freaking color palettes, so I have no idea how to bring them. This is very bad, very bad. I thought Blender would be smarter in this sense, so this is worse than much worse than I thought. So linking doesn't work for grease pencil because you can't make additions. Appending doesn't work for the palettes. Imagine having one different material for each of the colors. This is a nightmare. So it's doable, but it's terrible. Yeah, it's not good. Color palette has a functionality, right? So let's see how to import a color palette. Color attribute. It's not texture painting. Okay, so it's from this. I see. So we need to append them from another blend file, so, and not from the... Okay, so that should be like the old school way. Then like... Let's hope that will work. Okay, so I bring back... I really don't need any of this drawings, right? It's just because it's cool to look at the characters, but... The dummy is a 3D reference of space, so it's kinda useful. The position of this is not super. Okay, so saving, let's bring this color palettes. Cartoon cast. Palette. Ah, there is one by one, right? So of course. Dorothy Urban. Let's see. I need to turn on the light here. There we go. We'll eventually need some others. Should append all of them? Well, some are not ready. The problem is that they are not linked. So it's like, can we link them? So if they may, I create more colors. Let's make some tests here. It's broken. It shouldn't appear as a link. Oh, it appears as a link. Okay, so that means that... Ah, that's good. It's actually safer because I cannot change this stuff. Yeah, this is good. I can only change this in the original. So there's a disadvantage, but like if I'm creating a new color palette, well, I have to do some creepy stuff if I want to be working this in, but I think it's better like that, right? To keep organized. So this is a good thing. So let's actually make a link for this one. And let's gonna make the test. This for drawing strokes, and so use this, and this is for this palettes, right? Great. Shift space, right? Yeah, I can use here, but So how do we work here? I know we need a Shift Control E, insert blank keyframe. Yes, no, no, where is the, I mean the right one. There we go. See it right behind the asset was cool, but we need to find now something to do. So if I'm not wrong, my shortcut here was the where is the okay, this seems to be broken. Maybe I need to update this. There we go. Shift Control Alt F. No. Alt F. Much easier. It's under construction, the place. So let's get here to see it to restart here. Ideally, yeah, let's do the correct way. We need to bring here the I wouldn't like to be doing here, but screw that. We're going to do the easy way. Instead of creating more file, ideally I should do this in a new file, but you know, in order to bring all this link back there, that could be a nightmarish stuff. Although we could try, but yeah, no, not gonna try in real time here. So gonna do this patiently. Like I have this entire scene can become an asset of its own. So the idea would to bring all of this into a new blend file just for storytelling. Like anytime I'm doing a new shot, I can a new whatever thing, I can camera motion, whatever, I can create a new file destination for that particular, so I don't mix time with things, which is very, very bad for yeah, like I remember you're trying to make scenes, then you sometimes I was working NLA editor, I was having huge problem with that because I timed that everything there, and then I was working in stuff here in the review part outside of that, and it just kept playing the timeline and disrupting my visualization. Yeah, camera binded to the matte marks, right? That's a problem usually. So here we want the video sequencer editor is the only thing which allows us to, so far I know, to play sound here or get not sure we need something here. Apparently we need some, yeah, we need a new scene. Now we want this scene, and apparently I've got an extra scene. So this is a new feature of Blender 5. I don't know how yet to use this thing. This could solve that problem that I was mentioning of, but then you have other scenes in the same blend file. This can be huge, but that could be a way to organize these time stamps, right? Here, these markers we're gonna ignore, but I think I have backups. Yeah, so I don't need these markers anymore. I can recover them from, they were timed for other stuff. All right, so here we're gonna import sound. So I have a music soundtrack here. It will be the apparently it's not available here. What is this? Okay, maybe it's downloaded in some weird format. Or maybe it's just the title that is corrupted. Let's try this. All right, so MP4, that should be usable. Maybe it's because it was in use, I'm not sure. Or maybe it's a bug. Okay, no, definitely this is very weird. Maybe it's not sound. Ah, because it's a, yeah, this is this downloader. So we're gonna, it's a video actually. Yeah. But I don't need this, the video track, the image track. I just need the, what is this new way of showing the, okay, here. It is very tiny. Disconnect strips, okay. Scrubbing, yeah. It's not ideal, but this is lagging too much, right? So we need to see. There's too many things going on, right? So yeah, there's a problem here. This is too heavy. I might have to time this out properly, so playback is 6 FPS. All right, so you see how complicated this is, but a lot of stuff to manage. But we're almost getting there. So now I get tired of all these managements, and I need a break. So I haven't even started, but at least I've checked how this can be managed, right? So the palette thing that was getting all ready and get used to take notes of the workflows, since Blender can't make life easier in all sorts of ways yet, right? But Blender 5, at least now I have a, yeah, you can turn the composite setup node setup into compositor node setup into a asset finally, without having to make horrid groups for that. So Alt F. Okay, so this is for drawing, because the 3D scenery is very, and everything else maybe can be very distractive, right? Even other grease pencils, but there's no other grease pencil right here. So I need to just gonna want to start drawing, but I need some idea where is the, okay, these dummies, let's not place them in, let's place them there. Where should there be one character to start with? Let's see what we can do here. This asset, I believe it's badly positioned anyways. What can we do from this? Where is there's a bedroom somewhere? There, it is here. Trying to see where I can start this from. It should be just, probably I don't have a corridor here, so I'm gonna abstract some stuff. So skip some stuff, right? We have a good rendering anyways. Yeah, as you can see, so it's perfectly manageable. This is gonna be, yeah, if it gets, it's just this too distractive. What can I do with this? Maybe I can duplicate this. Ah, wrong. Why? This collection. I was in the grease pencil within this collection. Crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna Control C, Control V. No, now it's here. Okay, so this is just a, just to look for, yeah, so my first idea here would be to have cards sitting here, or maybe like here. No, better like here. We have the that background. Okay, So yeah, I don't need this one. We're gonna pick this, delete everything. Beyond the strokes. Alt F. This dummy right in front is bad idea. Shift Control I in bring here, okay. Yeah, so I can't play the soundtrack right now. I think this will help me focus. We need this. This is more for the timing. Ah, it's drawing behind the asset. This is weird. Haven't thought about this thing. Okay, then how to manage this thing? Yeah, this is creepy. Here is fine, but there it was. And it. Ah, yes, okay. Maybe there's something to do about this that we can. Like, bring this to the front, maybe. It's very weird how the... Yeah, so this is more complicated than I thought. I need like to draw a different layer about here. Yeah. So when these things happen, the best thing to do is like to switch the I think I'm drawing in multiple. Yeah, so now I don't know how to go back. Yeah, like this. Here the shot was not very well planned, so yeah, this kind of perspective here to draw this thing here will be, and we can't see X-ray. Why I can't see X-ray of things? Lots of problems, right? This X-ray seems to be weak. Yeah, like so here. So indeed it's kind of challenging. Crazy, right? When it's always have been complicated messing with this, but now I need some planning, so can't understand anything. So I see that the head is too big in relation to the like it's doable, but it's yeah. So here if it was a 3D, a 2D, full 2D thing would be maybe a little better. Yeah, quite better, quite simpler to solve this. And here again we have this yeah, so I've decided to start with the one of the most difficult shots you can have. So exactly, so I have to think about this. Yeah, it's quite frustrating when I thought that I had the means to do all this, then a lot of things weird happened. Yeah, so alright folks, so sorry about the confusion here, but the thing is that I knew, yes, this technique 2.5D is super complicated. There's way more complicated things than what the few content available out there presents, right? Now you can see for real some of the challenge, so it's probably one of the reasons it's so confusing that the few people that artists which are able to handle this technicalities, they are not able to, or they don't want, they are not interested in making tutorials about this and explaining it's just too dense, too too complex, right? I can't make tutorial about that because I need first to be able to. Yeah, I could make. I need to find some workflow which will be good. Practice helps, but right, you know, this is. If I started with much simpler, which was what I was doing was much simple in with open scenes, right? Just taking care of the floor, that was okay. But as soon as we got into 3D objects, interactions like that, a new skill set and understanding of the problems and solutions available and workflows, what can be best for the artist. So this is another level. Yeah, I think I'm off for to full 2D now, and maybe back to, who knows, 3D rigging and 3D animation because of that, which have their own problems. But at least drawing is already very hard, right, for me. So drawing with these things, I was a bit naive about this thing. Needs more practice for sure. I was liking the results here, but I can do this full in 2D. And alright, folks, so maybe there's another thing it could be achieved, like in this 2.5D approach. I could perhaps, you know, instead of drawing directly in the 3D, which is kind of one of the reasons this becomes really way more complicated, would be to render the shots, right, sort of abstraction here, and then we bring them back to, I don't know, some Krita, maybe can, whichever software, maybe even in Blender, but we have this render, we draw on top of the 2D render, so no 2D interaction. It will be a 3D interaction, which will be one source of very critical problems to technical problems to what is already very complicated, which is drawing, right, on perspective, on style and proportions and etc., character design, animation, you name it. So things to think about. Thanks for watching, folks. Sorry for the issues, but at least it shows some developments here and some compositing, some attempts. See you next time, and have a nice weekend and happy blendering. Maybe you find better stuff than myself. So I have to reflect on top of these things and see if maybe I'm missing something crucial. But most likely the technique in itself is super hard for various reasons. Like you decimate one giant and there's the next one in the corner waiting, which is much more treacherous, much more dangerous, and yeah, it's very hard indeed. It's interesting. So this makes me. This is why. Well, maybe I can use the center, just as I mentioned. Use the renders, and without the grease pencil, then solve all that separatedly in full 2D, right? So there's still hope, right, for 2.5D, but you see the method you decide to work with will determine even if you are capable of achieving this without going crazy. Yeah, because if I keep doing this way, yeah, this is a good candidate to get me going crazy. So there's an expression in Brazilian Portuguese, arrancar os cabelos, like pull your hair off, like. And so unfortunate, right? It's complicated, very complicated techniques. One on stacking on top of the other. The challenge. I will try some more stuff. Maybe I find something about this, but I think I'm more inclined here to try back to, yeah. Yeah, so I have an idea, like maybe I should get this cartoony stuff, which is helpful for me, and bring this to maybe a fantasy universe that is like with the same cast but with different approach, right? And then draw all that, do all my stuff there in that world, and then for the that will be the 2.5D. I can still use the renders, right? I'll need to make a few new sceneries like fantasy, forest, castles, stuff like that, right? Fortifications and temples with their shrines, elven trees, village, stuff like that. So so this can be done in Blender in 3D, right? Then we can render these shots and then add the 2D assets, which is the drawing part, separately, so you can have full control of the so I don't have to mess too much then with the perspective, like you just drawing on top of we can have guidelines maybe, but drawing the 3D, it's really complicated. Yeah, it looks like, for a lot of reasons. It's deceivingly challenging. And then as for the, like, this will be like my second attempt, right, in doing these things, and I will step on something even harder than the previous, so it's very, very frustrating for me. No wonder very few artists share or comment about this, or there are not a lot of people doing this, relatively speaking, right? So for the regarding the 3D, right? So there is a chance that I can come back to making some 3D rigging and of course 3D animation content, but for that I'll have to wait the final release of Blender 5.0, right? And then the real Blender release for that, right? Let's travel a little about here, this spaceship. The yeah, sorry, the hiccup, I think. Waiting for this Blender 5.0 official release. Sorry, official release, and then they don't solve the rigging problems, but there might be something about performance that apparently there is a project regarding using GPU for the skinning. This is terrible. Never happened. Yeah, GPU for skinning. So I saw some video one of these days. I'm not sure what this is about, but yeah, it was presented by the Blender Today, right? The guy there, Blender Today, Pablo Vasquez, and I wonder maybe this will be a game changer for rigging, because a small game changer, because it will make riggers faster, skinned rigger faster. But the problem of skinning, right, is still nightmarish anyways. I was very close to find something a bit more elegant, but the research needs to continue, and I don't have more time for that, but unfortunately, but I will try. Maybe there's something. And same for facial rigging. I think I'm not gonna bring up the low polization, because it brings altogether a lot of other problems. Yeah, so the medium poly, low medium poly, it's still okay for me. Also considering these improvements in performance, right folks? So that's it. I didn't find too much gain. I haven't found a way to make the low poly valuable enough for my methods. That is not one thing that strict me. I tried low polization one, twice, many times, and couldn't reach a conclusion that, oh, this is much better than low medium poly. No, turns out it's not that comfortable I thought it could have been. Okay, it's playing the timeline. So after I see what I do with all this, but it's good to find stones in the way, because this will dramatic stones, because this is the kind of things that can make you make good decisions at some point. Because if you never experiment, if you never have any, if every right, you need to fail sometimes and see for yourself what are those methods, how is this, what does that mean, what does it mean to use, to attempt a certain technique or another, and then you can see how far you can go, right? Maybe sometimes it's a good idea to give up on certain path, and so this frees the way to other paths, right? And so I see that my goal is storytelling, so it doesn't really matter, but not only this goal, but I want storytelling that is feasible, that is comfortable for me. So it's very difficult in CG, of course, but in 2D, this challenge in 2.5D brings me back a bit more. I was already growing back a bit more into the 2D domain where I come from. My main background is 2D art. So this is helping me going even further back to value what there is in 2D art, but still maybe using 3D as reference for scenery, or maybe for renderings, for color, for I think the next step will be to bring the 2D scenery as renders, right? An old school idea, right? Not mine, right? But and then once you have the rendered 2D scenery, you draw on top of them, right? Of course, you need to compose the scene, maybe sketch a little directly in 3D to see what. But good sense of anticipation here, right? What can I use? Can I use some? Yeah, so maybe this will be the best for me, and we'll see, folks. Thanks for watching. Take care. Have a nice weekend. See you next time. I'm not sure what I'm gonna share next time, but probably I'm gonna bring something of interest. See ya, folks.